Hey guys, Trav back again, and on this video we're going to address Iron Farms in PlayStation 4 and Legacy Console Edition. It's going to be a pretty in-depth video. Not only are we going to include a tutorial, but we're going to start with some mechanics that I think the information needs to be spread a little bit better, because there's a lot of misinformation and there's not enough legitimate information shared on YouTube about the subject. So I'm hoping we can kind of clear the air here. I'm not saying this farm we're going to do is the end-all be-all. What I'm hope is that by creating a dialogue with you guys that we can continue to improve and shoot for what's possible. At any rate, let's talk about what we know. First of all, Legacy Console Edition Iron Farms are pretty pathetic, and they have been since the Villager and Pillager update. The only way they're going to get better is if 4J changes something, maybe improves the golem spawn rate or something along those lines. What else was I going to say? So for one farm encompassing one village, you can expect at most, I would say, about a stack an hour. You're typically looking at about half to 2/3 of a stack an hour. Now the farm I'm going to show you is stackable. However, we do have limits since we have villager mob limits, cap limits. So all that being said, let's talk about some information first before we get into the construction. What we know is that in Legacy Console Edition, an iron golem can spawn within a 16 by 16 by 6 high grid around the beds within a village. Alright, so that's represented here. So here's a bed in the village. And we come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And anything within this gold, an iron golem can spawn. And that's every bed within the village. And a village, to produce iron golems, must have at least 21 beds and at least 10 villagers. Alright, so by centering the beds as much as possible, which is a goal of ours, we can minimize the size of the spawning area. As far as what they need to spawn on, they can spawn within any block that's transparent, which includes glass, as long as it's on top of a flat solid surface, which will include slabs. So to prevent the spawn, one good way of doing it is with fences. Also, the spawn rate is 1 in 7,000 per game tick, which means you're averaging a golem about every, I would say about every 6 minutes. Okay, is what you're averaging. So maybe 10 per hour, which gives you, on average, about 40, 50 iron. Alright, optimally. Okay, so that being said, come over here. I've included the 21 beds. So these beds are centered around a kill chamber, and I've centered them as much as I could to where we're gonna to the build we're gonna have. All right, and I also measured out from each bed the widest possible spawning area by going out 8, and that last block is going to be our last spawning block. So anything within the gold here, we can have iron golem spawn. Alright. Okay, so what I've done now is I've added a spawning platform for the golems above the level of the beds. By putting the blocks just one level above, golems can still spawn on top of them, but they won't be able to spawn any higher. And by having the spawning platform above, then that way we can work underneath here, have the villagers underneath here, and also gather the loot that's going to drop from gravity. So as you can see from our gold cube, our room here, this is all the areas a golem could spawn. They can spawn on these blocks that are one block higher than the beds, but they will not be able to spawn any higher than that. They can't spawn up here because it's too high from the beds. Now, a lot of videos explain doing this with just a 16 by 16 spawning platform and having water lead to the kill chamber in the middle, which is fine if you have one central bed, okay, or if you're on Java where it goes off of where they gossip or your point of interest in your town. However, with our setup and on PlayStation, it could be any of the beds. So we put the beds as central as we could, And then we also have to add the distance to the edges from each bed on each edge. So what I mean by that is the typical spawning platform here, we've had to add 3 more blocks, 1, 2, 3, all the way around that for possible spawns. In order to make the water reach from the outside to the middle, we had to split up the water. So in essence, we've had to sacrifice this, where all these signs are, those spawning areas. However, we've added all of these external spawning areas, okay, to maximize, you know, the locations in which we can have golems spawn. So keeping that in mind, and keeping where we put the beds in mind, now it's time to actually get into constructing a full farm that's going to work. Okay, so the first thing, as far as resources you're going to need a few stacks of whatever your basic building block, a couple stacks of glass, some fences, a few hoppers, a chest, 21 beds, signs. You're going to need 4 lava buckets, and you're going to need a whole bunch of water buckets. So just make an infinity source nearby. Bring some fence gates and some torches to light up underneath. Alright, so let's get into this. First thing we need to do is we need to get our chest up 1 block off of our ground. Alright, nice flat surface we're going to be working on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put hoppers feeding down into that chest, and hoppers feeding into those, just like that. We can get rid of these. Now we're going to create a kill chamber around this. So to do that, we're going to put blocks all the way around these center 4 hoppers. Let's go ahead and get rid of these bottom ones for now. So make that too high. I like glass so I could see in there. And then let's go ahead and use our building block on the top. This is representing the level of the spawning floor. Great, so we're going to take some signs, throw them on the sides. I like to go the sides opposite of the front, so when I look in there, I could see in there fine. And that's going to hold lava on the top, and that's going to be the kill room. So to get this to work, what we're going to do is we're going to go out 11 from each, including these blocks. So 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you're going to do this to each one. I think that was 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 10. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to fill all this in. Okay, so make this a square, and I'll come back once I'm done. Okay, we're back. So I've filled the floor, and the other thing I've done is added 1 high wall on the outside all the way around your spawning platform. And then what you'll do from here is you're going to put fences all along this to make to spawn proof all these and keep the golems from getting out. So we'll go ahead and bring fences all the way around. Perfect. Now go into 1, 2 open spaces, and on the third one we're going to put signs all the way around. Okay, so this is your spawning platform ready for water, but we're not going to put the water in yet. We're going to do that at the end. So what we're going to do is we're going to come underneath here. We're going to start preparing our beds and everything underneath here. So go ahead and square off everything down here. And you're going to go out 2. Okay, so if this is the front, keeping the front blocks clear, those glass blocks. We're going to come out 2, and then we're going to go out 2 from the glass on both sides here. And the back. So we'll know we've done this right if we have 9 blocks long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not quite, so I'm going to go one more off the front. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 16, 17, 18, 19. No, 8's fine. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to do 8 beds down each side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Before in the back, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 in the front. Just like that. Now, we can't leave... Go ahead and scooch these all the way back. We can't leave these solid blocks underneath. So we're going to delete all these. With the beds in place, it's time to create a cat holding chamber. By holding a few cats in a chamber, then it's going to prevent them from non-stop spawning, which is going to stop this from being a string farm. But it's also going to improve our golem spawn rates. So to do that, we're going to go to this back side, and right off of these funnels here, these hoppers, we're going to wall that off, and then we're going to go out 1, 2, so 3 blocks off the back of these hoppers. Alright? And then we're going to close this in by creating walls up here. So it's basically making a kind of a 2x2 little holding cell for cats. And then go ahead and fill this little gap in here. And fill this all in right here. So in there's a little 2x2 holding room. Let's go ahead and close that off. So the way we'll do this is the very first thing that's going to spawn is cats, just because they spawn so quickly. So we're going to open this up, and we're going to put water in here on these far sides. So when cats spawn in, they get swept to that little holding chamber. And then once we have 5 cats in there, then we're going to close that off and get rid of this water. Alright, so for now that's fine. Okay, so after you got the cat chamber in, let's put the chamber in for the villagers. So coming off the hoppers on the front side, go out 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You're going to wall in the back 2. Like this. And then wall in a 2x2 room like this. Okay? 2x2 room. You can knock out the blocks above. And that's going to be our holding chamber for the villagers. So, at this point, you're ready to bring in your villagers. Just make sure when you bring them in, you bring them in away from any other beds or villages that may be nearby. You want them to come out here without any beds claimed. You know, drop them in there, or else they're going to have to stay a night and reclaim their beds. And at least 100 blocks away from any other beds around here. Let's go ahead and make it daytime. So for now, we're just going to throw villagers in. We need 10 of them. 10 of them. Now, you could go more. It's not going to make a difference really on the spawning ratio for golems, but you can't go less. Alright, so you need at least 10. Now, naturally, since we have a mob cap limit, you don't want to go above if it doesn't help. Now, you're ready to put water in. So go to each corner on the outside and the inside and place a block. So outside corner, inside corner of the signs. Outside corner, inside corner of the signs. Outside, inside. And then on those blocks, you're going to place a bucket of water and then break the block. Bucket of water, break the block. Okay, so once the corners are done, on all the sides, other than the 3 cornered ones, you're going to place source blocks. So skipping those 3. Skipping those. At this point, usually you're going to have cats spawned in already, and they're going to be filling your cat chamber. I threw a couple in there to speed this up. And on the inside, do the same thing. That should be all of our water in place. Perfect. So water's outflowing to the middle. Once you have 5 cats in your holding chamber, you can block them in like this. Get rid of the water. Take 4 lava buckets. And put your lava in there. So with the lava in place, we have this farm done. Okay, so in the beginning of the video, I said that we can stack this, and I wasn't wrong. In order to do that, we can go vertically at least 100 blocks before we build our second farm. So if I were to stand here, we're at Y20. So up here, we're going to go to at least Y120, and we could start a second farm. Right here, and then we'll build another one off of this, so this will be the top of our drop chute. Now the important thing here is when you're bringing your villagers in, you have to keep these villagers up here separate. You can't have them connect to any of those beds down there. This needs to be a separate village, so you're gonna have to get them up and over, or do this, bring them up to this one with beds in this one first before you place any beds in that farm, and then populate that farm second. Okay, whatever you find easiest for you. So, that being said, we'll start. Oh, look at that! We've already got we got one golem while we were up there talking. So with that being said, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build a second farm up there, and I'm gonna AFK for a few hours and come back. All right, guys. So I've AFK'd for 2 hours, and the knowns are I AFK'd halfway between the lower farm and the upper farm, and I was not on a solid block. So you'd be on glass block, okay? And in those 2 hours, if we take a look at my inventory, I'll show you what I got. So here's the top farm is on the top row, bottom farm's on the bottom. Some inconsistencies, as you can see. First hour, second hour, but as you can see, an average is starting to appear. Oh, somewhere around 60 blocks or so. You know, about a stack per hour, and that's kind of what you would expect. All right, with our spawn rates and everything else, nothing's gonna knock out of the park. But at least here you have a solid farm that's working. It's stackable. Now, if you do run into issues where for some reason the golems stop spawning, you know, for several days, go through and break all the beds and then replace their beds and see if that helps reset the farm. I mean, it's a good farm. It's not a string farm, as you saw. It's just producing the poppy and the iron, and it's reliable. You could certainly say that. Okay, so just remember some of the things we talked about here as far as the mechanics of the spawning, what you need to make a village. And then we covered the tutorial on how to do it, and we talked about some of the results. Okay, good luck with what you guys are doing. Let me know if you run into any problems. It works. I've built this on several different worlds, on several different test maps, and I've gotten the same results. So best of luck with it, guys. If there's anything else you need, don't hesitate to ask in the comments below. Remember to leave a like, subscribe for future Minecraft on the PS4. This is your boy Trav.